We are back on the project lawn, and today's question is, can we save this lawn by scarifying it? So last week, we went through and thoroughly started dethatching the lawn. And I really had to do that because we had so much topical debris on the lawn. However, I wouldn't say it was a complete fail, but the grass just wasn't growing the way that it needed to do. So now we've got to switch gears and bump it up a step, which is Scarify. So let's go over the general recap. Ultimately, this is a 7,000 square foot patch of grass that we are turning into a sports field for the homeowner. The homeowner had a little bit of a rough time last year, wasn't able to water since last August. I got to the lawn this last April, and man, I thought it was mostly dead. So the goal is can we fix it without just doing the obvious and starting over? And this last little while, we've gone through dethatching and dethatching and dethatching. Now, the problem that we ran into was this. The dead grass mat layer, which is what we would call the thatch layer, which is just a string of rooted matter, was pretty much, I don't know, 30, 40% dead. And so that matted matter is getting in the way. So let's get back to this what is debris and what is thatch kind of debate. So I've taken a soil plug so we can kind of go over this. Now, debris is just going to be that material that is sitting on the top layer. You can see this browning here. Then we get into the humus layer and the thatch itself, which is just the root mass from here to here. Now, when this gets out of control, you'll kind of see this layer up top here kind of sponging up and out. We don't have a problem with this thatch layer being out of control, but more so I have a problem with the thatch just kind of being dead from last year. So this entire area is just not growing. So this is a scarifier here in the United States. So the UK, they actually call this a dethatcher, which in my opinion is a more correct term. So we have what looks like a tiller without a wing. So the idea behind this is since this thatch layer is dead and we've got a lot of dead, what's happening is bluegrass and several other species of grass, they want to push out and they want to form new clumps or new rhizomes or new stolons so it can thicken up. In this instance, that's not happening because it can't. It's hitting that thatch layer and going, there's no space to grow. So what we're doing is we're going to be cutting in new areas and removing this thatch to encourage new growth. Now, I got to this point for a couple of reasons. Number one, the grass was still really thin and it was driving me absolutely nuts because it didn't matter how many times I dethatched, we were still pulling out a ton of lawn debris, but I really wasn't getting any new growth. And in essence, I was kind of biting my fingers going, man, I really have to reevaluate. Let's go over some of the questions that you guys have commonly about scarifying. Number one, can you do it while it's hot outside? Well, the question that you have to ask, is it better to remove the debris and the thatch that's inhibiting growth? And my answer is yes. We did this while this was 82 degrees 3 weeks ago, had no problems. Now we're getting into the 90s. I would still recommend getting it done. So the other question that I commonly encounter is what setting on the machine should I be using? And I just slam it to the ground, go with the lowest setting because the whole idea is we're tilling out the thatch. Next on the list is how do you scarify? Well, I like to go horizontal and a vertical pass. So I'll usually do two. That will get me into quadrants that are usually less than ½ inch square. So that makes it so you're getting out a lot. I find that using a backpack blower is the best way to blow it into piles to discard it. Now keep in mind, actual thatch is going to be heavier than regular debris that you're going to be getting with a dethatcher. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get it off if you have a handheld blower. Not impossible, not improbable, but just a little bit more difficult. Now, I typically like to go around the border edge twice so I can give myself some space, and then I'm going to cross hatch to make sure that I get all the space. One of the biggest questions I get is, should I go with a battery operated scarifier and dethatcher or a corded? I personally prefer the corded modules. Sure, the cord gets in the way, but the problem that I have with the battery operated ones usually only last 20 minutes. And I find that if you do not have, 6 extra batteries lying around, it's just not gonna work as well as you'd hope it will. Results so far have got me extremely happy. Look at this. We've now got life in here and we still lack a lot of grass. I'll give you a nice quick heads up and a close up, but you can see now from the scarification that we've done, we're getting new grass coming through. But this is such a fun project for me. But I have to warn you, this is worse than watching paint dry when it comes down to it. But as you can see, we're getting fantastic results. Now, as far as results go, here we are 3 weeks later, and this is what we're looking at. We have a ton of new growth. And if you look at the thickness that we're having, we're finally starting to get where we want to be. I mean, this is fantastic. But guys, we have grass. This is amazing. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are noticing, not only do we have grass, but we have a ton of weeds. So that's what we're gonna be attacking next in here. I've mentioned this several times. If you do not have a Sunjo or equivalent Scarifier Dethatcher with the cartridge system to remove, you really need to. This is by far one of the most productive lawn tools that you will have in your toolbox. It's just so useful. I use it every spring, use it every fall. And if you want that golf course type look, you can actually dethatch your lawn monthly, which I would recommend now. But I am extremely happy with our progress and results considering where we came from. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up down in the comments down below. You know, I'd love to help you guys out. Until next time, guys, Pest and Lawn Ginja, we're slaying lawns.